All right. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hello, everybody. I am Alec47, and this is Mass Effect. It is going to be played by the wonderful and dashing Frenchman Foine.
Hello, everyone.
I'm going to be doing most of the commentary to let him concentrate on the gameplay instead of having to commentate in not his first language.
Thanks you for that.
Yeah. But at any rate, we're all ready to go. Mass Effect, because we don't like to watch through the intro cutscene for every single attempt we do, starts on character control. So I'm going to give Vaughn a quick countdown here. 3, 2, 1, go. And right away, you'll see the grenade gets you into combat, so it allows you to sprint. You can throw a grenade pretty much anywhere. That is the use the grenades are going to be used for in this run. He's also using a mouse with a free scroll wheel, and as you can see, we allow dialogue skip to be bound to said scroll wheel, which makes dialogue go very quickly. It's really nice. And meanwhile, we're just going to be getting into a little bit of mandatory exposition here. Hi, Ashley. Before we get down to Eden Prime. There aren't a ton of unskippable cutscenes in this game, but most of them are near the start. So adding one extra is just kind of unnecessary. So it's nice to start from a save, basically, or from first movement.
Everything cuts out after that. No comm traffic at all. Just goes dead. There's nothing.
Reverse and hold at 38.5.
Yeah, the unskippable cutscene are at the beginning and at the end of the run.
No other Alliance ships in the area.
Trust me a lot.
Fortunately, that one.
Fast and quiet.
Fortunately, the second one isn't. The last one isn't timed because the game's already over.
Yes.
Without drawing attention. It's our best chance to secure the beacon.
Grab your gear and meet us in the cargo hold. Tell Alenko and Jenkins to suit up, Commander. You're going in.
All right, so I guess I'll also mention at this point that we always run as Vanguard. The only class that even comes close is Infiltrator, and that's only on New Game Plus. Vanguard just has the exact right loadout of skills to get through everything quickly. Unlike in Mass Effect 2 and 3, you don't have force, or I almost said force jump, but rather biotic charge.
We are approaching drop point 2.
I also used to run KOTOR a little bit until I'm still thinking. I just watched a run of that game. But yeah, so right away here, he's going to shoot that gas bag. That's going to get him into sprint. And he's going to run over here, and it's going to be a rather unfortunate moment for Corporal Jenkins here. It is possible to do a skip to skip him getting killed, but that one is a bit less consistent than what we're going to see here. It requires basically overloading the game while running up a slope by spamming saves super quickly and not allowing it to process that you should be sliding down the hill. It works in some places, doesn't work in others, but that allows you to kind of skip around this little hill and skip this cutscene. Got some fun stuff found by a guy who also glitch hunted a lot in KOTOR, Lufex, who found some of that stuff. And here we are going to be, instead of going through this section normally, walking up on this up to this rock, and the game doesn't quite handle loading a crouched quick save very well, especially when you're up against certain corners. Not all corners, but enough of them that it works. Okay, now this is a seam walk. You see Fawn missed it once. That happens to every runner of this game. You can have your consistent approach, your cues. But obviously, the goal here is to get up on top of the out of bounds area, the area where
Sorry for my.
you're. Nah, that's right. But believe me, sometimes it's like, for no good reason, there it is. For no good reason, you can't seem to get it. Going to shoot down there again to get combat. Now you want to make sure that you run close to the edge, but not so close that you slide back down in bounds. He also had his squad mate go to a specific spot so that they will shoot some of the drones and get a little bit of XP and money. That is actually very important in this run. We have a rather tight experience and money route because we want to be able to buy a gun on Barrows. And that means we need to be a certain level, so the gun spawns in at a certain level, and therefore a certain price. And then we need the money to be able to buy it. So dropping back down in bounds here, obviously a little bit farther in, past a couple cutscenes, and also past recruiting Ashley. Now, down here, there are a few of these husks, but now, because he got them into combat before triggering that cutscene, they basically just deload. If you go too fast into that without aggroing them, then you will be unable to do what he's about to do here. So he's going to run forward just a little bit, quick save, load, because the enemies count as still being on the tram here. And in order to start the tram at the end, you need to kill all these enemies so that you are not in combat. The game obviously is not quite handling this super well, but that was a nice clean tram. Very possible to die there. And now we have another cutscene. Of course, because it's the beginning of the game and they have all this stuff that you're supposed to learn about, the plot and the characters and such. So we see Saren going up to this beacon here, and he's going to get mind whammied a little bit. Shepard's going to get mind whammied when he gets up, or she gets up here too.
Oh my
Now
god,
we
bombs!
have Yeah, gotta defuse the bombs so this place doesn't blow up. So next little combat section here. There's not a whole lot to say about it. You kind of go from point A to point B. You kill the enemies, you defuse the bombs. There's a little bit of ordering your squad around. In other words, just Kaden, because Ashley will catch up, but she's not here yet. We're going too fast. She needs to catch the next tram, so... We're going to go ahead and disarm these charges, go down and hit the beacon. And we're going to hope that Kaden is able to at least damage, if not kill, a couple of these Geth. That's not bad. He's going around there, yeah. So you want him to get some damage on some of those so that you have as little combat as possible coming out of defusing this last bomb. Picking up that equipment because, again, we need money and every little bit counts. Oh, I think you might have to...
Yes.
Yeah. So the goal there is to kill those Geth really quickly and get out of combat for just a moment and activate the beacon before the husks activate. That little bit of extra experience won't mess up the XP route. But yeah, it saves a few seconds to activate the beacon without having to fight the husks, obviously. So that's a nice little technique that we tend to do here. And as you can see, Ashley is not here. She's invisible. So this cutscene is really funny when you're a male Shepard.
Yes.
Because instead of seeing Caden go up here and then Shepard pulling Caden away and Ashley, well, Caden is going to be sitting in a rather awkward position in a moment here because there is no Ashley to hold him in that position. But if Ashley is invisible, it's even funnier.
Yeah, Shepard threw away no one to take his place. To take her place.
Yeah, that's why I tend to play as male Shepard when I'm not donated to play as Fem Shep, just because of that cutscene, because I think it's funny. Otherwise, there's basically no difference between male or female Shepard in terms of time, which is nice.
That's
We identified the ship that touched down on Eden Prime, the Normandy, a human alliance vessel. It was under the command of Captain Anderson. They managed to save the colony.
And the beacon.
One of the humans may have used it.
Angry. Red.
I wonder who is the bad guy of that game.
It's funny that it. One thing that I actually like about that is it seems like he's not angry by default. And if you know the plot of this game, then him being kind of like cued in, like you should be angry with this red light,
Dr. Chocolates.
makes a lot of sense.
She's waking up.
Yes.
You had us worried there, Shepard. How are you feeling?
So here's Dr. Chakwas, there's Caden. You'll see that Ashley is caught up and is acting like she was never gone.
I better add this
She'll
to my
be
report.
outside there.
Wait. Oh,
But we're just going to run up to the bridge and get to the next cutscene.
I'll be in the mess if you need me. Sounds like that. We should be getting close. Head up to the bridge and tell Joker to bring us into dock.
And after that cutscene is when the run really starts to get interesting. But this whole early section, unfortunately, is a bit of a cutscene simulator. Getting a little bit of XP from that codex entry there. Again, very tight XP and gold, or well, credit route.
Yeah, it's very interesting, I think, to see how the route is optimized for XP and credit. It's a wonderful job for all the community to have make this route.
Yeah, it's been a project of basically over a decade, because a lot of the skips were found initially by Wymorn way back in the day. Jordan here did some stuff with that as well, and then more recently, Luffex came in, found some new stuff, and then there was a pretty much concerted community effort to make the money and XP with those new discoveries line up well so that you'd be able to get the Stiletto 4 on Pharos. And it works out beautifully. There's also a slight divergence where you can take a slightly safer route on Pharos if you want to, or on Novaria rather. But there isn't too much point to that because the fast way, just as long as you don't mess it up, is not bad at all. But we'll get to that when we get to that. Now it's time to open this door and throw another grenade at the floor.
Shepard don't like floor.
Yeah, you're waiting to do it till there. That makes sense. There's an area there where the grenade likes to fly through the floor, And so, especially because you basically get the maximum amount of sprint anyway,
Yes.
it doesn't really matter. So they're talking to Garrus. You have to talk to Garrus, or else you will respawn back in that spot later instead of from the fast travel terminal. And now you're going to see some very normal gameplay. We're now slightly out of bounds, but still within the level, and now no longer within the level truly. So Fawn is going to be going out of bounds and falling quite a distance while doing so, but also traversing a fair amount of the map. And in doing so, he's going to be able to get to Korra's Den and the normally locked off part much quicker. And that, of course, is going to allow a good amount of plot stuff to be skipped, where normally you have to recruit Garrus and or Rex and get information. Garrus and Rex will be skipped in this run entirely.
Finally, some action.
Now here's Korra's Den. This run is a little bit trickier than it might seem, but with a little bit of practice, it all gets normal. And clipping back in bounds here, because we gotta kill Fist, or at least, well, defeat him. It's faster to spare him because you don't have to change dialogue. But just using throw to send him down and finishing him off, nice and easy.
Don't kill me, I surrender. Don't worry, you'll never see me again.
And now this is a dangerous part of the run. You can see switching pistols. If you get a better pistol earlier on, it's a good place to do it. Barrier is important, and it's going to help survivability here. Now, one thing that's cool in the most up-to-date route is that in here, we want to kill a couple enemies. It used to be just a mad dash towards the end. Just get out and don't die. But with the current XP route, we do need more experience from somewhere, and this is about as good of a place as you can get it. Oh yeah. Still dangerous, even if you're taking less fire overall. So good to be through that part. Now I'm going to use a singularity to deal with these assassins. Nice, got them both. It's easy to mess that up. Nice quick kill there. Now we're going to get the the second to last recruitment in this run with Tali right here.
Did you bring it?
Now, ideally, you'll be able to take out most, if not all, of the enemies here with one throw. That doesn't always happen,
I hope.
but worst case, you only lose a few seconds. It seems a little bit dependent on luck almost, but that wasn't too bad. As you can see, the assassin dies pretty quickly if he's not able to get his defensive buffs up.
I was on my pilgrimage, my rite of passage into adulthood. Most of the core was wiped clean, but I salvaged something from its audio banks.
And Tali has the information to get us made a Spectre and sent after Saren. So we gotta listen to a little bit of this here. This voice clip, basically.
That's Saren's voice. This proves he was involved in the...
And then, whoop!
Thanks. You won't regret this.
Tali, best squad mate. Don't at me. Although I don't think many people will. I think there's pretty much a consensus like everyone loves Tali.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
A bit of a minor thing there, you can see Flan is pulsing when he's sprinting. That just allows you to get more out of your sprint because you have kind of a deceleration.
Come on.
So it allows you to stay at a higher speed for a little bit longer. And now he's going to go up here and, wait, the Geth attack is a matter of some concern? That's the previous cutscene. Yes, two cutscenes were trying to play at the same time there. If he hadn't saved and loaded, that would have been a hard lock, the game would have crashed. Instead, he's able to go down here and on the same frame talk to Anderson to start the Spectre cutscene and open up the map. Then clicking on the little exclamation point there to switch from one part of this menu to another allows the game to start progressing. And so dialogue is skipped very quickly, and that Spectre cutscene, which normally takes something like a minute and a half,
Yeah, maybe
is
2 minutes.
Yeah, it's something like that. That basically saves like a minute and a half right there. But you're a Spectre now, and now that you're a Spectre, you can leave. Now, the fastest way to leave isn't to go through the whole process of like finding out you have command of the Normandy. No, it's just getting to the Normandy as fast as possible. And funny thing, there is a Normandy at the bottom of every single map in this game. Why? I don't know, but it's there, and that's quite useful. So what we're going to do here is get a zip up to the skybox here, which gives you just enough height in this relatively non-vertical map to go over here and start falling out of bounds. Now, you just line up a specific angle, and you're going to end up at the Normandy, not the one that's in the Citadel that you would normally enter, but the one below. And that's going to be important later. So this extra Normandy, as it were, is down here and all ready to go. And yes, grenading the ground lets you sprint because it puts you into combat. So our first planet here is Noveria, and we're going to complete this in a very normal and proper way. This is one of the more recent discoveries, and it's great because it cuts out a Mako section.
Oh, yes.
So once we're loaded into the Noveria map instead of the Citadel, after this landing sequence here, you can traverse that in much the same way that you've seen the Citadel be navigated. And the funny thing is, there is a place on the Normandy where you can go and get a zip up to the skybox on Noveria, all the way up to the top. And that means you have a long distance to fall and to cover that you can cover. The Normandy is also not located where the it actually lands here. Instead, it's more central to the map, which allows you to skip the Mako section entirely and not have to worry about going through either clipping through a wall or getting a permit to get to the garage. But right over here in this corner, after getting some much needed loot, every little bit of memory or of money is very important. Here's the skybox. It is rather boxy up here. Now, Fawn is going to fall for a little while, and then he's going to end up basically at the garage for, what is it, peak 9? I'm forgetting the number.
Peak 15.
Peak something.
15.
Yeah. That sounds right. It's so irrelevant to me that I hardly care.
Oh, yeah.
It's just the place you go through. But you end up there, and that's where all the stuff is supposed to happen. And then there's a nice little sequence of out of bounds that you can do there to get to the labs even quicker. So in a little bit here, not too long from now, you will see loading pop up on the screen. There it is. So now Fawn is on top of Peak 15, gonna go towards this area here, drop down, now saving here because there it is. Good. If you can see here.
Hope you like the
Another quick-
skybox.
Yeah. He's doing it again. He's up top again. And this is a variation of an older skip that does basically the same thing. It takes you to the same place, and that is the tram. So instead of repairing Peak 15 and doing all of that, we're going straight here. Missing a bit of XP, which is why some other enemies were killed earlier and why Fawn is going to make sure to kill certain others later, so that he gets to a high enough level for both the loot stage and for just getting skill points, so that he's able to get the right amount of loot to be able to afford the gun later. And of course, here's the tram. Just kind of going to walk around here on air, then get on the tram, which allows you to just fall down here at the door and activate.
Departing Central Station. Destination, Rift Station. Now arriving at Rift Station, Binary Helix Research Facility.
Now, I have had a funny thing happen here where I don't know why, but I triggered the anti-cheat and got stuck in a tiny room right after that tram. I'm not sure what happened, but
Here I
was
saved
kinda
because I don't know if it happens to you. One time, one of my teammates don't go in the elevator, and I was off luck.
yeah, that is a bit more common on some elevators than others, and this is one of the ones where it's a bit more common. It's not as common as ones in Peak 15, which is fun for all missions and assignments, but yeah, it can happen at pretty much any of those elevators where they just don't snap to the right position. And you can ignore these Rachni, but again, we want the XP. So now, you can do a little side quest to go a different route, or you can just go through this area here with... It's restricted. You're not allowed in here, but you can get through here by hacking your way in. Everyone becomes hostile, pretty much, and there are guards here that give XP and drop things. So getting that money and XP is also really important. But the fact that this is just the faster route, both in real time and in game time, with loads removed, is a nice plus too.
Don't see my ammo mod. Oh, I think it's good.
Always nice to get a random grenade. But yeah, armor-piercing rounds is really nice because you're going to be fighting a lot of Geth, and dealing more damage against them is good. So the Venezia fight here, if it goes well, is pretty much scripted. But it has so many ways and chances for it to go off script that you can never count on it. So it's definitely a run killer. I'm going to order the squad to go over to that other side to hopefully kill enemies there. Get advanced throw and lift because those are going to be used in this fight. Now, at this point, there are a couple of sorry commandos that you have to deal with. That one was dealt with nice and easy. There was a previous one that was exploded. And those are the ones that can really wreck your day because they have throw as well. And they can throw you even out of bounds, which, as you can guess, is not ideal. It often leads to you having to do the fight over again. But this is going well right here.
Yeah, good fight for now.
So this is the last phase of the main set piece there. You can take care of those enemies by just plopping a singularity there. They die from the DOT and fall. And now there's this part with Benezia and a couple more Asari. This part can be a little bit tricky as well. You can see there that Shepard it got to pretty low shield and health. That's pretty common, but you want to deal as much damage to Benezia as you can because she can do nasty things like throw you and also put you in stasis, which is not great. But that was a good fight.
Oh yeah, that was a clean fight. I'm happy.
You love to see it. And here it is faster to save the Rachni because it's the default option and the cutscene is faster. But if you want to skip a boss fight later on, then
I don't know if you know, but I do the. I don't. I don't do the. I do the fight.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm lazy with the dialogue choices. So
it's not a long fight if you do it right. To be fair.
Yes. It's slower than choose a dialogue, but I'm so struggling with dialogue choices that I choose the lazy way.
Yeah, so what I'm referring to here is basically that in order to do a persuade check later on, you would need to get a bunch of Paragon or Renegade points so that you could get your maximum persuade or intimidate ranks to a much higher level. And here you can get either pretty easily, but on the next planet, Pharos, you are locked into getting Renegade points because of the skip we do there. Because it's just like, which of these flags does the game check? And because of the one it picks, it gives you Renegade points. Because we don't kill any of the colonists, but we don't knock any of them out either. So the game's like, all colonists saved. Or like, no colonists died, basically, and tons of Renegade points. It's kind of silly. I love that little bit where you just see, after you do that cutscene skip, which is done by scrolling your wheel and having a weapon swap bound to it, then doing a save and load. For a couple, you have to do multiple if you want to do the skip, but that's not important anymore for the hard one. It used to be important, but since we changed up a few things, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, I will not skip Pharos.
Yeah, that's the one that's hard. It requires two save and loads.
It's pretty tricky.
Message coming in.
Commander Shepard.
And this is a fun little thing that I pointed out way back. There are resources here, and they give you XP and money. And it ended up being the fastest way to get a certain amount of XP and money, so it's in the route. It only takes a few seconds to scan each of those planets.
Yeah, you got to save your life for buying.
Yeah, so the way the flow goes for this, you don't have access to the shop until after you either complete the whole thing or do, like, the Geth in the tower. And spoiler alert, but we're not even going to go in the tower. A little bit more XP from those codex entries, every little bit counts. Taking Kaden and Tali because they have abilities that are useful. Your squad mates aren't going to deal a ton of damage with their weapons compared to you, So having them use their abilities ends up being a bit better of a equation for the fight. Rest in peace, David Al-Talakani. And then just going to run through here because you get a free sprint if you don't kill all those Geth. They will still be there upon leaving, and that'll put you in combat. These sappers, though, you do want to kill for a little bit of XP and gold. Not gold. Maybe it's gold. Maybe the galaxy runs on a gold standard. I don't know. But instead of doing things as intended, you're just going to go up here. Like, this is where the route down to the Thorian is. And, yeah. Walls are just suggestions.
I'm sure the game himself say, oh no, he's scratching. What did he do to me?
Fortunately, the scripting is robust enough that the game could kind of handle that. But you can see there, like, all the colonists were still alive, but you got 32 renegade points because you didn't knock them out. And because the game checks, instead of them being alive, like whether you knocked them out or killed them, it basically treats it like they're all dead, even though if you continue playing and even go on to the next games, everyone will be there, everyone will be alive, and it'll be treated that way. And this is the hardest fight in the game.
Yeah. Longest.
Also the longest. The Thorian fight here is just a long sequence of trying to get the Asari clones before they get you, then killing a certain number of creepers so that the Thorian nodes lose enough resistance that you can kill them quickly. But not too many creepers, because otherwise you're just going slow. Advanced Marksman is really important there. That 1 point in Vanguard gives you a nice little damage percentage boost. Knocking down creepers is very effective because they take more damage and do less damage to your party. That's a thing that Lunch especially brought to the table. Excuse me. And get some water here. And it really does make this fight more consistent. But you're just going to be alternating between throw and lift on the Asari clones. Of course, getting the loot, because that loot is important for the money. And then the fewer creepers are alive that are associated with a node, the lower its damage resistance. This one in particular, you want to kill quite a few of the creepers here. Once again, another clone. Always kill them first. And then these are associated with the next one. So it's worth taking a little bit of time to kill them, because otherwise your squad mates are likely to die, and this node will take forever.
Okay.
Warp also is a big help because it reduces enemy damage resistance, so warping the nodes helps out quite a bit. Yeah, it looks like there a lot of the creepers just didn't get killed, so the resistance lasted longer. And that's unfortunate. The good thing about that there is that Foine had another power ready to go. But you want to have those powers ready for each Asari clone. But he accidentally hit the... Why aren't they acting that, man?
They don't want to. They will stay here forever. Okay, nice job, guys.
These
Ah,
creepers are supposed to activate, and then you can kill them to reduce the node's resistance.
yeah, I've got my throw. See the positive side.
On the bright side, that was enough time for throw to regenerate. Now the home stretch. This section has multiple Asari clones. One's going to pop out in a moment. Hopefully able to get it lifted right away. So that's good. The clones give more resistance than any of the creepers do, so you always want to kill them before going after the nodes as well, not just because they can throw you and your squad mates and be a whole pain. Now, one more clone, and this node will have a bit of resistance still. So it's usually advisable to kill a couple of these creepers, and then you can position yourself here and the squad will take care of some of them. And then shooting at the node until you win.
Okay.
So that fight could have gone a lot smoother, but at the same time, it's always better to win the fight than it is to, like, start over again.
Yes.
Because you got thrown out of bounds or something. And it very much is possible to die here.
Yeah. The clone can throw and can turns very bad.
Every idea must touch another mind to live.
Yeah, you could get dogpiled by creepers, or you could get thrown out of bounds. Lots of not fun things can happen.
No.
One more little unskippable cutscene here, and then if all goes well, there will be enough money to be able to buy a Stiletto 4, which is a really nice weapon for the end game. And it beats having to hope that you get a good one from random drops on Vermeer. That's for sure.
I saw something. It still didn't make any sense.
That's close enough.
Of course. And please remember, if you see my daughter.
I never thought I'd forgive my creep.
Let me.
All right, sell everything. That's enough, I think. No, that's...
Okay, okay. We're good, we're good.
Yeah, I was going to say. That was so close. I've had to do that a couple times too.
Yeah.
Where you go in and you have to go out, get whatever dropped randomly. But all right, we in there, we got the stiletto, and now it's time to leave.
84 credits left. That was a close one.
Again, those Geth get you in combat, so it saves a grenade and or a slow run. Because you can press sprint while out of combat, but all it does is change the camera angle in this game.
Decontamination.
Even in a casual play, you understand that sprint with not in combat, do nothing. Oh yeah, I'm sprinting.
Good timing, Commander.
Now we're going to get told about Vermeer by the Council.
What kind of
We're not going to go there just yet. Instead, we're going to get Liara, who is starting to go a little stir-crazy, being trapped in the state she is. Seriously, getting Liara late in terms of like the main plot planets, she gives some funny dialogue. She thinks you're a hallucination.
For me, this planet is the worth. I ate it.
Yeah, so this is the Mako planet. It is possible to do a skip, but that involves the Mako glitch. It wouldn't have been the first version, place you do it in an older version of the route, but the way that Novaria was done is actually faster than the Mako glitch there. So, what the Mako glitch is, for those of you who don't know, because I have some time to talk about it, given all the driving that's going to be happening here, is you have a squad mate drop and then revive, and in the process of reviving, if you get in the Mako, physics just can't. Nice little skip there. And when I say physics just can't, I mean the Mako starts flying around, spiraling, and doing all sorts of crazy stuff. It will take physical damage when it bounces up against things, but you can also kind of manipulate it to sort of go in the direction you want a fair amount of the time. It is so inconsistent that even though the theoretical limit for a Mako glitch run is a good bit faster than a no Mako glitch run, the best time is still in no Mako glitch. That nut has yet to be cracked. But yeah, you're able to use it to go very high in the sky, go over an invisible wall, and drive out of bounds directly to the end. Oh, no gate jump.
Okay.
Gate jump doesn't save a ton of time. Honestly, like, you can go through this section pretty quickly, but it looks cool, and it does save a few seconds.
I always try it. But lately I do it very bad because I'm...
It's one of those things that's not hard to get, but not hard to mess up. So...
Totally. But it's very simple, in fact, but I don't know. In these days.
Yeah, so all of this section would be skipped. You would be driving around the ridge in front of you, basically, if you did the Mako glitch. But instead, you do get to get a little nice XP here, because, I mean, you might as well shoot at the stuff while you're driving, you know? Oh yeah, for those of you who are able to make the legendary run, that's a treat. It has its own very silly set of things you can do. And it's seen some significant discoveries recently. So I highly recommend giving that one a watch. Might not be a bad idea for me to post the schedule here. Since this is not a bad time to do it, even though you are about to see another skip here.
Yeah, less Mako, more Skybox.
So, around here, you are able to, once you kill those guys and hop up here with the Mako, go up against this rock and use it to clip out of bounds. It's not a zip to the skybox, so how do you handle that? Well, once you get out of bounds, the fortunate thing is that you are rather far from the origin point, and for whatever reason, when the game has to deal with a large enough float, you float to the skybox if you collide with your party members.
Seems logic
and it
to
really
me.
only yeah, so it really only works because you're so far from the rest of from the beginning of the map. But we're glad it works because it does mean that you skip one of the most finicky tricks in the run before, which was the Mako clip, where you would clip the Mako into the section where it's not supposed to go. This one is much more consistent and much easier.
Totally. Lifesaver for me.
I was pretty good at the Mako clip when I was at my best, but like even then, it was a trick that you could easily lose a minute on.
Yeah, and after that, there is so many rocks that the Mako can climb on and do his thing. That's
yeah. It's not designed to go there, and so the collision does not do well with the Mako. But instead, here we are out of bounds, actually behind the Mako section, and we're going to go right into the area where Liara is, the Prothean ruin. Dropping off here, lining up right, and here we are. There is a slightly safer entrance to that, so you can basically get into the tunnel up above and then clip down here. But, once you learn the setup, this way is not that bad at all. So here's Liara. We have to talk to her to get the Geth to spawn to get us out of combat, basically, so that we can use the laser. So you'll see a little bit of, are you real? No, of course not, before the dialogue gets skipped. And here, the Geth has spawned. This would otherwise be a situation, this is a situation kind of like the tram at the beginning of the run, where the enemies aren't spawned, but the game still counts them as theirs, so you're not out of combat. And now, in order to progress, you do have to do this laser. It's basically just guess it right. It's the same every time on console, but different random on PC. PC is otherwise faster in pretty much every respect. Most of the skips are still possible on console, but require a little bit more saving and loading in a lot of cases. And the drop-downs don't work as nicely. But here we're, instead of taking that little elevator up to Liara, we're just going to clip in and talk to her. Because that's faster. And could you have done that earlier? Yes, but it would have been useful because it wouldn't have got you to this point. You need to do the other story beats first.
The game wants you to make her all.
Yeah. So now coming up on basically the boss, and that's that Krogan Battlemaster there. He's only a threat if you don't knock him down, basically. But he is the highest priority in this fight. You need advanced throw at least, which fortunately we have.
I don't use throw. I just, well, I shoot. Just shoot.
Yeah, I guess if you kill him before he uses his defensive ability, then it's not too bad. Now this section is really loud. We're sorry.
Thank you for the setup. I'm happy to hear that I'm not dying.
Yeah, older games and their sound can be a little bit wonky. Coming up here, we're going to have another cutscene skip. This one is important because otherwise you see the whole cipher thing play out again like you did after Pharaoh's. Now that Liara is in and she can mind meld with you to try to help you make sense of things. So this one and the skip after Vermeer are particularly important.
Yes.
Speaking of Vermeer, one more planet to go before we hit the end game. And it's time to drive the Mako. Yay.
Long time no see.
Yeah, Vermeer is really unfortunately laid out because if you look at the map, you'll see that there are all sorts of places where you think, oh, you might be able to skip over this. And it's kind of almost a horseshoe shape that this whole path ends up taking. So the fact that there are so many death planes and no really good way to glitch up to the skybox or anything like that just means that you have to drive the Mako through this whole thing. A lot of effort has been put into Vermeer trying to skip more of this section. Nothing. There's nothing. Everything is just too far away or there's a death plane. Or several death planes, usually several. In fact, there are a few places where you can just kind of brush up against the wall, and if you drive against it a little bit too high, instant death. But yeah, we're basically ignoring most enemies, just killing some along the way for XP.
Open nice mud drop.
Yeah, if you're lucky, you'll get a grenade drop somewhere along here. That saves a few seconds later. So coming up to these two gates, you have to exit the Mako and go up top to do some stuff. Now, if you park around there, the way to get into the Mako will be accessible from above. And that's good because you don't want to have to run through this whole area again out of combat, because that's slow. Instead, what you're able to do is get through this area sprinting while in combat, do the thing here, in this case, deactivate the AA guns and open the gate, and then you can just run up here and pop right back into the Mako.
Oh.
That can happen, yeah. The Mako is quirky like that sometimes. Yeah, I'll give a brief explanation of that already. Basically, the Mako glitch route is theoretically faster, but the Mako glitch itself is so inconsistent that no one has got a better time with the Mako glitch than without it. It'll probably happen eventually if people try.
Yes.
I plan on giving it a few attempts at some point. I'm not sure exactly when. I'm going to have to be in the mood for failure because you're kind of just doing runs and hoping you don't get bodied.
Totally. Mako glitch is tough.
It's hard. It's inconsistent. It's kind of like you can't actually control it. You can only control its tendencies. Is the best way I could put it.
Like, yes, that's exactly it.
Because it'll tend to go in certain directions more than others. So you just try to get the tendencies where you want, and then hope you go where you want. If it doesn't, well, try again. Lose time.
It's a fun glitch, nonetheless, but
I have come to trust each of you with my life. But I have also heard
yeah, when you want a good time, it's frustration.
Absolutely. Not bringing Liara here intentionally because we actually want to manually level her up for a skip later.
Com check, and Commander. If you see any way to undermine their defenses, we could definitely use them. Shadow is on the ground. Repeat, Shadow is on the ground.
And so basically there are two ways you can do this section. You can either save Ashley or Caden, and it's entirely up to you which you do, but there is one battle site that is much faster, and that is the battle site of the bomb. So you want to go back to the bomb, and if you send the person you want to save there, then you're good. Either way, at one point you're going to have to pick the non-default dialogue option, and that's basically it. It's just a matter of whether you do it here or later. And it's really easy to just skip through that first one and by default send and have Caden end up with the other squad, which, sorry Caden fans, he ain't gonna make it. But yeah, this is just a little running section. There are a bunch of things you can do to help the squad, but none of them are necessary, and they all take a little bit of time. Shooting the satellite dish, or the communications array rather, is only a couple seconds loss. And that's only because it brings up a little dialogue box that you have to click through. But instead, basically, we're just going to go through here as quickly as we can. That security console, for whatever reason, it's really finicky being able to actually interact with that one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there are a lot of Caden fans. You might be surprised.
Is someone out there?
Including the lovely person on tech right now. Shoutouts to Sanjan. Very good runner. Good person.
Impressive runner.
So in here, if you kill these guys quickly enough, then you can open this door because you'll be out of combat, and that'll be before all of the husks spawn. Now, there's a lot you can skip here, fortunately, because the bridge is always down. It's down and up at the same time right now. So you do have to clip through the visible part of the bridge. But that's basically it. Just make sure you don't run at the wrong angle, because it is slightly off center if you're looking at the compass right now. That's all you got to do. It does mean that the brainwashed secretary does live, which is unfortunate, but it takes time to go in there and, finish her off. And this is basically where in the old routes, I would hope to get a good gun drop. Like, if I haven't got one yet, it would be in these crates that were just passing by here. Like, please give me like a Raikou or a stiletto or something, please.
All targets down.
But the Geth are coming, and where they're coming from. They don't stand a chance.
The fight isn't very fair.
No.
That's the gun. We need to clear those gaps and get the charges set.
But coming up pretty soon after this little cutscene of the Normandy landing here,
The charges are set and ready.
we're gonna
Low and keep your
bring in Liara to our party after that. But in order to level her the way we want, we're gonna have to turn off squad auto leveling. Just a little quick thing.
right.
But we want to make sure that Liara has maximum ranks in Singularity.
Commander, I'm bringing us in. I'll get as close to the site as I can.
All right, Joker. There you are, finally. Man, come on. Get with the program.
Here, I never understand why Ashley and Shepard are talking with radio. They are in front of.
Presumably so the other squad can hear as well.
Ah.
But welcome to the squad, Liara. She is very valuable because she allows a nice little time save on Ilos. Maxing pistols for damage, getting advanced lift for with some of the extra points that are saved by not using any intimidate. And then maxing Liara's lift for the final boss fight, getting enough warp to get advanced warp, maxing out singularity, and everything else doesn't really matter that much. You want to kill those enemies, not because you can't use the elevator. You can just run past them and kill and go up the elevator. But you need to be able to quick save here in order to get back to the proper, to the bomb site quickly. And right here, he's going slowly because you want to pick the left option there. That's always going back to the bomb.
And it's because I'm very slow in those choices that I didn't do the pragmatic route.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you mess that up, it's a bad feel. So these Geth, their AI is kind of messed up, so it's just a slaughter. And now you wait for Saren. The Saren fight here is pretty self-explanatory. You basically just shoot him. And you want to hit warp, you can get a little bit of damage if he flies underneath one of the explodable tanks. And that's always nice. But at this point, this is where, if you were going with a persuade route, you would have to do these persuade checks. And doing the persuade checks in this fight drops the difficulty of doing the persuade checks on the Citadel at the end of the game from needing 12 ranks, the maximum, to just 9. Saren didn't do a kickflip there. Missed opportunity.
All right, everybody, hang on.
And one last cutscene skip right here, spinning this mouse wheel to swap weapons, saving and loading. It is possible without a free scroll wheel, but less consistent.
Yes, back in the days, I just do it with the keyboard, and that's okay, but it's more stressful.
Yeah, definitely. Instead, you can spin to win. So here the Council are going to lock down the Normandy. But fortunately for us, they're only locking down the Normandy that is accessed from the inbounds portion of the Citadel. So all we have to do is get to the out-of-bounds Normandy that is not locked down. Really bad oversight on their part, unless they intended it. Yeah, I'm going to say they intended it to be done this way. They just needed plausible deniability. They're politicians, right?
That's a good idea. I think it's it.
Yeah, you can get out of bounds really easily there. Poor Tali in the floor there. So this is Ilos. It is home to the next skip, and also home to the biggest skip possible with the Mako glitch. I'll explain that one once we're kind of past the initial skip here that we're actually doing in the no Mako glitch run. So the reason we got Liara's Singularity to max is because Singularity moves objects, but it needs a big enough radius to actually get to a certain object that we're going to use here. So there are some boxes in this area at the start, and with a save and load, you don't actually have to save, but a safety save is advisable.
Yes.
It also means you're not getting shot. You can use the Singularity to move the objects. And that's the goal of this next skip, is to move a box, once you get Shepard on top of it, to an area where you can clip down into the area that you need to go to unlock this door, basically, that Saren is shutting right now. The Mako glitch route, of course, just skips through the door. So there are some Geth in the area. You definitely want to take out most of them, and you want to make sure that you do not aggro the Geth armature that is off to the left. I'm going to run over here, hit one last guy, and that allows a safety save. Some people push that box out of the way. I like to do the run on both boxes. It usually works just fine for me, but that's personal preference. All you do is you lift the box. Doing it with Shepard at this point is, I think, a little bit more optimal. In most cases, Shepard doesn't have max lift quite yet. But you get up here, and yeah, definitely safety save there, because there's a chance that this next part won't work. You need to drop down there and hope you don't get stuck like that, or shunted through the whole thing and just miss entirely. You want to either get dropped onto the top of the elevator there. Oh god. Or entirely through it. So we're not exactly sure what makes this work or not work differently. That looked good. But it is, as far as we can tell, computer dependent. It depends a little bit on exactly how quickly your computer loads things. So you just got to find a setup. And sometimes this happens. That is why you do the safety save up here, so you don't have to ride the box up. Also, a fun thing about the box, when the box moves, you don't automatically move with it.
Gonna be a pudding now.
So yeah, you have to run on the box to stay on top of it.
No.
Almost.
Let's go. Let's go. Wait, where? Yeah.
There we
finally.
go. Yeah, that skip can be a little bit inconsistent, unfortunately. But it does skip going around a decent run and taking another elevator normally. So it saves a good bit of time, even with the setup you have to do.
Yes.
As long as you don't fail that too many times. Unfortunately,
yes. That was very bad.
Unfortunately, it would have been faster to go around this time, but optimally, it is faster.
And that's why we don't take elevators, because it's so slow.
Yeah, we skip as many elevators as possible in this game. Even the all missions and assignment route doesn't take that many elevators. And that has to do all sorts of additional stuff in the Citadel and on other planets.
I have spent my life studying the Protheans, but I never dreamed I would discover anything like this.
Now we have a nice long Mako drive. Coming up here in just a couple seconds is where you would go to do the second part of the Mako glitch. The first Mako glitch use on Ilos, if you were doing that category, would be to get through the door just right off the bat and skip having to go down, do the singularity skip and all that. But the second one is the really hard part, where you have to line up in a particular way, hope that you glitch out of bounds and don't fly back in, and then gain a bunch of height, get on top of this area, and then drive on top of it, and then skip around a little bit to save a little bit of additional time. Most of the additional
is very, very difficult.
It is. It's the hardest one in the run, I think, even harder than the one on Therum. But it skips, in addition to a bit of the drive around, it skips Vigil here. So it saves quite a bit of time. And that's one of those things, like, if you can get all of the Mako glitches really quickly, you can have a very fast run. It can save quite a bit of time. And especially with the new Novaria, where you don't have to do a Mako glitch there, that's nice because it's one less place you can have it go wrong. But that, of course, is the easiest Mako glitch to do, is the one on Novaria. So go figure. But all right, we talked to Vigil, we learned a little bit, and now we get more driving. Yay!
Last driving.
Probably the most notable thing about this driving section is that after you go down here and drop down to the area below, there is a route that is barely visible. You can see he actually hit it a little bit with the right side of the Mako there. That can send you flying. I have done barrel rolls and flips off of it, as well as lost time.
Mako magic.
Uh-huh. Otherwise, just driving to the conduit. Then there's going to be a little cutscene before the conduit, and really the only thing of note there is that you fly the Mako so that you get a little bit of extra distance, and you start a little bit closer to the conduit. Saves a very small amount of time. But the Mako can hover in this version. It's stronger hover than the remaster, but you don't get the boost. And the boost kind of makes up for it, because with the one skip that you need to hover for, and for this, so it works out about the same, except that you don't have boost for this whole section. So the boost is a very nice addition.
There, the conduit. It's incredible. We don't have time to admire the view. We have to get through that relay, and these Geth aren't going to make it easy on us.
And that's the beginning of the endings, cutscenes marathon.
Yeah, there are quite a few cutscenes here, but fortunately, they aren't as long as the ones in the beginning of the game. And in a sense, they're a nice way that you can kind of catch your breath a little bit.
Yes.
So it could be worse.
Yes, yes. It's a nice game to run.
I agree.
Abandon the Citadel! Evacuate the Council! Citadel Control! Citadel Control, do you copy?
the funny thing here, if you are doing the Mako glitch route and you end up below this area, you can almost make it out of bounds to the conduit, but not quite. And even though they can't enemies normally can't shoot through walls, you just take a certain amount of scripted damage, it seems, as you do that drive. So you're basically forced to clip back in bounds after doing that whole section out of bounds with the Mako, basically. Because he could make it in time, but he wouldn't make it intact. Normally here, there's a whole long section where you have to go just kind of navigate around places. There are a bunch of Geth, a bunch of Krogan, but we don't have time for all. So instead, we're going to zip up to the top. Already dropped down. Okay. You zip up to the top, drop down, and then drop down again. And now we're going out of bounds. We're suddenly going to have a helmet on and be out here without an atmosphere at pretty much the end section. Well, Liara's taking a nap.
Liara, don't make it. Sad.
It's all right. She'll recover by the time she's needed.
That's just a rocket.
Yeah, you do not want to get hit by one of those turrets. You know, I can't say that Liara doesn't have any Krogan genes because while her parents are both Asari, one of them could have had a Krogan parent. So I can't even refute that.
Yeah, don't remember we know about her father.
Well, really, she has two mothers. Because, yeah, it's canon that she has two Asari parents.
I
forgot. Yeah, and she's looked down on because of it. All right, this is the fight that you can skip with a persuade check. But it's not too bad most of the time. So in a second here, Saren is going to zap over there and try to get his shields back, but as you can see, that's not a very long fight.
The cutscenes are longer.
And Saren is dead. So here, it is faster to save the council because it's a shorter cutscene. So we save the council.
Alliance ships, move in. Save the Destiny Ascension.
They're lucky they're fast.
Commander, we're picking up reinforcements. It's the Alliance.
You know, I suspected that might be her other mother, but I wasn't sure. Yeah, I didn't have the right squad in my one Mass Effect 3 playthrough. I will play through it again, though.
Destiny Ascension, you are all clear. Repeat, you are all clear.
Concentrate on Sovereign.
Make sure he's dead.
Alright, so the final boss fight, if all goes well, will pretty much just be gets Sovereign's controlled Saren body in the air.
He's dead.
And then hopefully finish it completely before he drops down and is able to jump all over things. There are two phases of the fight like that. Time ends on the last hit of the second one. So for this, it's really fortunate that you do have the aura around, and like I mentioned earlier, some of the leveling was also to make her able to do more during this fight. She will automatically use a lot of her powers, as will Tali, doing some nice damage and debuffs with her tech powers. So they are basically the best squad to have here. When you do a lift, oh, he did an overload.
Yes. I was too slow.
Fortunately, the autosave is right here at the beginning of this fight.
Yeah. It's a lifesaver.
And then a nice, relatively short cutscene. You see Sovereign doing some bad things to some ships. But it's alright. Sovereign's going to have a bit of a processor overload in a second here. Once we finish off the Saren body. Well, the second phase tends to take a little bit longer, but nice. Time. GG.
Thank you.
You see what that time was.
Yeah,
the playback.
That was a
1:31. It would have been a 38, but yeah. Nice.
It's nice. It's nice.
Its shields are down. Now's our chance.
Definitely a solid time for an event run.
Yeah.
GG's, my dude.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I also have to give a big shout out to Flan for doing this run on very short notice. I've been having some computer difficulties lately. I'm currently on my laptop, which cannot handle playing and streaming this game at the same time. And so I asked Flan if he was able to do the run. He said yes. So shout outs to this legitimate French dude here. Merci beaucoup.
Hope we can see you run the game another marathon.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's just a matter of waiting on a part to come in for my PC because they sent me the wrong heatsink for my liquid cooler. Yeah. So I had to order the bracket from AliExpress of all places. It's fun. There's a whole story that goes into me not doing this run for this event.
I am happy to can do the backup. And
Yeah,
sorry for my
well-
English, guys. I'm French, you know.
Yeah.
French with foreign language. We are French.
Yeah, but hey, thanks again for doing the run, and I'm always happy to commentate. I love commentating.
Thanks for your comment. It was very good.
And don't go anywhere, people.
Yeah.
Maybe take like a drink break or something, but come back.
The first day of the marathon isn't over yet.